Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Now it's been quite a while since I've been to the range, but I wanted to get a little bit of practice in. Today's the perfect day to get in a little bit of dry fire practice. But ironically today, it's not about the handgun, it's about the shotgun. Now in a prior video, I took a look at dryfireonline.com. That is going to be my dry fire platform today. However, for the 12 gauge shotgun, I am going to leverage this Taryag Laser Cartridge. This is a cartridge that goes inside the bore. It is actually the bore laser that allows this entire system to work. So this video is a little less about me actually getting some dry fire practice and a little bit more about how this Taryag Laser Cartridge works. So what we're going to do, I'm going to get this set up. I'm going to take you through the process. It's very straightforward. I'm going to give you a real quick rundown of the dryfireonline.com so you can see it and you can refer back to my prior video. Then what I'm going to do, just some good practical shooting. We'll see how I do. But with that said, I have a whole bunch to do and a whole bunch to share with you. If you're interested in seeing a little bit more about what I'm about to get into, do me a favor, stay tuned. And so yes, here, this is my 12 gauge, this is my Mossberg 590 Thunder Ranch model. So I am going to leverage this Taryag Laser Cartridge. Again, this is a 12 gauge bore. You can get these in a number of different sizes depending on your needs. But very straightforward. If you've used any laser systems in the past or tried dry fire, this is no different. But the interesting thing, if you think about it, how exactly do you cycle the shotgun? Well, that is the magic of this particular setup. With this cartridge, it actually has a cutout. So what you see here, it's pretty much the size of your typical shotgun shell, maybe a little bit shorter, and depending on the type of rounds that you use. But you'll notice here, fully brass. It has some nice O-rings, and on the end, a little bit of a notch. This notch is instrumental in its ability to stay in the bore as you actually cycle the weapon. That's the key. So as you're going through your reps and you're going from round to round and you're continuing through what you would really simulate to be your loaded magazine, well, this would theoretically eject if it did not have this little cutout. So this cutout here being instrumental. And they tell you right away, this is not broken because it kind of looks like it, but it's definitely not. Now this comes in a nice little case, very straightforward to keep it protected. I actually like that. I think that's a good thing. And it comes with 2 sets of batteries, which is awesome as well. So if you look at the back here, the striker pressing on this little black spot, and that's what allows this to go off. Now, this is not like something where when you press it, it stays lit. Literally, when you press the button, it just blips real fast, and that's to simulate the shot coming out of the barrel. Now, this did come with a whole bunch of instructions, and the main thing being really, first off, it tells you that this is not broken, so no, the rim is not broken. Second, it reminds you to clean the chamber. That is definitely important. I've cleaned this up, so you don't want this getting really shoved in there with all kinds of debris and foulings and really mucking everything up. And the other thing is you need to put a little coat of lubricant on the O-rings just to get everything to fit in there nice. And the final thing, well, they tell you not to slam this in. So first thing, opening up my chamber, I'm going to get this. I'm pretty much going to drop this in with the one caveat being I found if you don't get the notch sort of towards the opening, if you had it spun around the other way, it can still grab on and eject this. So I'll do that first just to show you. So for example, if I'm not careful and I put this in so that the notch is sort of facing away from the open hole here, well, as I cycle, it will eject. So that's the first thing. So you have to get this seated the proper way. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take that notch. I'm going to make sure it's towards the open side as I seat this inside here. There we go. There you go. So this does work very effectively. I've had no problems with it. It's just something to pay attention to, that when you get it situated inside the firearm, it has to be a certain way. Now, something to keep in mind, they do put this little card inside that says basically some of the latest Mossberg 590 patterns have 2 ejectors on opposing sides of the bolt rather than just one on the port side, which you can see when I first was able to pump the shotgun, it ejected the cartridge. So what they're saying is for a short period of time, if you experience this problem, please reach out and they will recap it with one with 2 flats. Now, obviously, that is a problem for me. However, you can get around that just simply by making sure that you put the cartridge in the right way in the first place. So, not a big deal, but something I thought was worth mentioning. Now, things are going to be a little bit funny for me. Right now, I do happen to have my optic on top. It is not fully calibrated for this short distance. So, my alignment is probably going to be pretty far off. This is just going to be a test. It's going to get me started. Now, you'll notice I also have this laser on the front. I really have this shotgun set up for both close quarters indoors and then sort of further off in the distance outdoors. That's really my intention, but I can't use the laser on this system to sight this in because, well, once I sort of rake this laser across the screen, the sensor's going to pick it up and it's going to count it as a shot. I'm not exactly positive, but I know the Dryfire Online platform does allow for green or red lasers, so I do need to be a little bit careful. But with that, let's get into the program. Now, if you go back to my prior video, you'll see I do leverage a cell phone as the sensor, and then I have a PC going to my TV. So the phone here, acting as the sensor, is pretty much picking up all the activity. It is connected through an online app, so I am logged in both here on the phone, but also here on the computer. You basically connect it by putting in a serial code. So you pull a serial code off the screen, plug it in here, and you go through the calibration process. Now, to get this program started, you do need to operate it on your computer. So you're not really operating the app on your phone, rather coming through here. I'm going to get everything started. So as I scroll down, I'm just going to start this stage. And when I do that, well, everything sort of gets started on this end. So as I confirm that my gun is unloaded, you'll notice here, this starts an automatic calibration process, calibrates the screen, calibrates everything, and gets ready to go. And this is actually in a live fire mode. So I'm going to hop on the shotgun and see if I can get something on target. Now, of course, if I was trying to be accurate, the maximum capacity of this is 5 in the tube and then 1 in the chamber. So if I wanted to really simulate this, I would stop kind of pumping through after my 6th shot. But at this point, I'm going to just kind of go through the motions to gain a little bit of traction and not worry about this being super realistic. Of course, I don't have recoil in the first place. Calibrating. Round 1. So at this point, getting some shots, I definitely have to aim with my actual sights a little bit higher to get this to land on target, but I'm hitting the target. So let's get this to the point where it's going to start to actually grab some data, and we'll see how I do. So I've turned on the audio so you can hear what's going on. This is certainly not perfect, but it gets me some practice. Man, it's kind of like a video game with my guns, I guess. Not the best.
Stand by. Unload and show clear.
Unfortunately, my red dot not being set for inside is a little bit of a downfall, but keep practicing. I'll get it.
Are you ready? Stand by. Unload and show clear.
You can see the sensor's not the best. It's doing okay. It's not the laser's fault. It's kind of the technology. It's a little glitchy, but someday this stuff's going to be really sweet.
Stand by. Unload and show clear.
Oh, I'm getting there. It's struggling on the right side for some reason. Let's try it again.
Range is safe.
Tell you, decent physical activity, that's for sure.
Stand by. Unload and show clear.
One more round.
Unload and show clear.
Oh, the elusive right side.
Range is safe.
And so as you can see, that software is pretty cool. It's definitely interesting. It's something that I still need to continue to play with and get more familiar. The better you set it up, the more accurate it's going to be. But at this point, it wasn't the laser cartridge's fault. That definitely did its job and did its job just fine. But how do we get it out of here? Well, pretty straightforward. Just going to make sure the weapon is discharged. We're going to open up the port. I basically have this dowel here. Just going to press this down. No problem. That drops out nicely. And at that point here, it's just sitting right here. Nice and ready to go for next time. So not too much in the way of damage. It just sits in there just fine. That's another reason to make sure that you clean the bore before you jam this in there. But you can see this stayed inside the shotgun perfectly. So it definitely works. So this Taryag Laser Cartridge, absolutely perfect for my 12 gauge. And so that pretty much wraps up the video today. As I mentioned, this is something I'm going to continue to work with. It definitely gives me the opportunity to get inside when I can't get to the range and practice, and at least use my firearms a little bit. Now, as I mentioned, it's kind of like using your firearms for a video game. It's not perfect. It's a little bit glitchy. Like I said, I need to work on that. I think I can take care of some of that in setup. And as the technology improves, you know it'll continue to get better and better with new revisions. And then other than that, not having recoil, well, that's always going to be a downfall for a dry fire system. But the bottom line is the ability to cycle from shot to shot with the shotgun. That's fantastic. So for the people at Taryag, this definitely works. And I can say, if you're looking for something in this genre of product, I do recommend it. And so if you like this content, do me a favor, take a look at my Outer Limitless channel, which is my primary channel. On that channel, I cover everything from hiking, camping, and backpacking excursions, as well as all the gear that goes with it. So if you like what you saw here today, do me a favor and check out Outer Limitless. So all right, guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.